Hello, everybody. I am Puss in Boots. We talking about my very own sequel, The Last Wish, featuring the voices of Antonio Banderas, Selma Hayek, Harvey Guillén, Florence Pugh, John Bologna, Wagner Moura, Way Winstone, Samson Kayo, Olivia Colman, and Divine Joy Randolph, directed by Joel Crawford. Now, sorry guys, I'm Sky here. I'm sorry about my Puss in Boots impression. It's just I always wanted to do that since the first one. So, how did I go to this movie? Well, I have seen it twice. Now, is it as funny and entertaining as the trailers made it to show? Let's get into it. We open with the star and Puss in Boots, returning voice of Antonio Banderas, as he says a magical line about a wish from a star, which got me intrigued right away. While a wishful star falls to the ground and it blooms flowers as it wishes is waiting to be granted, as Puss throws a party and sings a song about how he's a fearless hero until a giant attacks thanks to the fireworks blowing up in the sky, and it attacks the town until Puss defeats him by making a bell going around and saying, "Hey, giant, you want to see something cool?" And it hits him in the face as Puss saves the day and gets crushed by the bell and dies. It put a smile on my face as I was laughing my booty off until his death. And this animation is great. And another movie that from DreamWorks that came out earlier this year called The Bad Guys beat it to it, but I really like this animation because it makes me smile. Puss found out he has died by the doctor, and he brings up 8 different lives, and he died 8 different times, and cats have 9 lives, and he's down to his last life as the doctor suggests retirement. And while at the bar in the next scene, Puss meets the big bad wolf, as I'll call him, as he's his death, and they have a sword fight to the point Puss is afraid of the big bad wolf when he makes him bleed his own blood and runs away to get to safety and decides he needs to retire and go to some cat lady's house to become a lab cat. And I fear for Puss's life as he buries his boots, hat, belt, and cries about it. And I really like this as a plot. Puss gets a new name called Pickles and has to live with a cat. Has to live like a cat would a cat would be in a cat lady Mama Luna's house, and gets a life of his own. While Goldilocks, voiced by Florence Pugh, Mama Bear, voiced by Olivia Colman, Papa Bear, voiced by Ray Winstone, and Baby Bear, voiced by Samson Kati, hunt for Puss. While Puss lives his normal life, he makes a new friend named Pero, voiced by Harvey Guillén. I don't know if I said that right. As we hear Puss say, "What the hell are you talking about?" to Pero. And this movie's kind of making a risk of the cussing for a PG rated movie like the first Shrek did. As Goldilocks and the Three Bears break into the house looking for Puss, and he sees he's dead, as Puss realizes the wishing star does exist and has an idea to get his 9 lives back. But he has to steal it from Big Jack Horner, voiced by John Mulaney. And Puss comes out of retirement and brings Pero with him. Realizing it with him, he goes to Big Jack's house to steal the map, excuse me, to the wishing star. And this movie is much more entertaining than the original. Hell, I would buy it for the 4K. Excuse my French. Puss gets into Big Jack's castle and runs into Kitty Softpaws, returning voice of Selma Hayek. As Goldilocks and the Three Bears come in and they fight over who holds the map, while they get outside with Pero and have no choice but to work together again. And why did they break it off to begin with? I'll get into that later, but I like these characters, Puss, Kitty, and Pero, as Pero's the dog and wants to be a cat, and the other characters like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, as the actors voice them great, and I really like them in their roles. They get to the place where the star is located, and Puss and Kitty's eyes get cute that Pero loves it so much, as Pero is like the donkey in the series. As they see the map, and when Puss and Kitty see it, it's nightmarish. But when Pero sees it, It's just like what a legend as it is, as it's more pleasant. And they make it Pero hold on to the map while being followed by Goldilocks and the three bears. And Big Jack as they arrive, while Puss and Kitty get bumped into by roses, and they smell the roses and take their time to get to to get by them, and it works. And Pero tells a very depressing story of how he was abandoned by his litter mates, which is really pretty to look at. Well, pretty sad to look at it that way, I mean. But the animation's pretty though. Big Jack wants to get by the roses, excuse me, the quickest way possible as he pulls off a therapy grasshopper, and he tells him to be nice while he pulls off a firebird called a phoenix burning the roses, as he's a cruel character. And John Mulaney does a good job at pulling off the menace from Big Jack. Puss asks Kitty for help to shave his cat beard, and Puss realizes he's in love again with Kitty as he gets Pero to chase a stick, and they bump into Big Jack and as well as Goldilocks and the three bears. Get in the fight as well as while Puss drops the map and hears the big bad wolf and runs away as he's afraid to confront death again. And Pero goes after him and calms him down by putting his head on his lap and pets Pero. Puss pets Pero, I should say, and he feels better and he confesses he's down to his last life to Pero while he was going to spend the rest of his cat life with Kitty as he was afraid and left the church at the time, and she overhears him saying it was a mistake to leave her for his legacy. And this piece of dialogue makes sense as it was a nice way to come back to Kitty for this particular movie. Goldilocks and the three bears go into their home in the forest as the forest was playing tricks on them, while Puss confesses he made a mistake from the day of the rest of their lives, while Big Jack is telling the therapy grasshopper he would kill to get his wish. And the grasshopper learns he's pure evil, and Big Jack flicks him away, and Puss and Kitty and Pero go get the Goldilocks and the three bears and takes back the map, and they fight it off. And who ends up with the map? Puss and Kitty, but unfortunately two things happen. One is Pero is captured, and two, they get separated from each other. By they, I'm talking about Puss and Kitty, and Puss tries to find a way out and bumps into his previous 8 lives until the big bad wolf comes in to terrorize Puss. And he runs away as Kitty saves Pero's life in an interesting, clever way as they catch up with Puss when he gets to the wishing star, while Goldilocks wants to be with humans again, while getting rid of the three bears. And Big Jack gets closer to Kitty, wanted to someone gets closer, and Kitty wants someone to trust her again as she and Pero are there, and Goldilocks and the three bears as well as Big Jack enter the picture and fight over who gets the last wish. And Big Jack's assistant is gone as Baby is gone, almost gone, but Goldilocks saves his life, and Kitty gets Big Jack in his very long bag, and the big bad wolf comes in and gives Puss his sword back and have another sword fight where his wish comes true, and he's done being afraid and running from and is almost defeated until he uses Kitty's small knife and beats the big bad wolf by standing up to him, and the big bad wolf decides to let for Puss to live his life, and Big Jack almost comes back as a giant. Well, he does come back. What am I talking about? And Goldilocks and the three bears work with Puss, Kitty, and Pero, as Pero now has the eyes of being cute. And Goldilocks, Puss, and Kitty tear the map up to Grasshopper coming in with the Phoenix and blowing him up as Big Jack is defeated. And Puss wishes for he and Kitty and Pero to stick together while being named Team Friendship, which was something that they didn't agree to. While Goldilocks and the three bears stick together as a family, and Puss and Kitty call Pero Pareto. Think of it like a burrito, for example, which is a cute name, and they head to the next adventure to far, far away to visit Shrek. And I'm so glad these movies were mixed in with the Shrek series, as well as it's a well done choice. And the climax got me entertained. This maybe that maybe I'll buy this on 4K Blu-ray if I'm thinking about this correctly, because it's that entertaining. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 7.9 out of 10. The beginning scenes made me laugh, as this is funny and more entertaining than the original, and I really had fun with Antonio Banderas' voice as Puss in Boots, as I really liked the characters quite a bit, as the voice actors voice them the best way possible. The animation is pretty and clever, as the big bad guys from earlier this year beat it to the big screen, as the explanation on why we get back to Kitty and Softpaws back into this movie made absolutely perfect sense. And I liked them in the last movie and in this movie, as Antonio Banderas and Selma Hayek have chemistry together, as they have been since I think the 90s or something. I don't know, but this movie does a good job at telling its plot, as I had a fun, entertaining time with it, and this is a solid recommendation. And I'll end up buying this on 4K Blu-ray. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for the Shrek slash Puss in Boots series. And until next time, pray for mercy for Puss in Boots as he lives happily ever after.